Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope by now you've had an opportunity to potentially check out some of the other grounding videos and stress management videos so that you'll have an understanding of what I'll be talking about today. Check out some of these links where you can go back and play some quick videos if you'd like to see what I'm talking about a bit more, and then you can pop back here and listen to the explanation if you like. So today we're going to talk about what the heck is grounding and why are you suggesting I do it. Let's get started. So grounding is a set of tools that you can build into your toolbox to help you if you're feeling emotionally overwhelmed, stressed, anxious, feeling bad, feeling unwell. It's a set of techniques and tools that you can use to help you bring yourself back into the moment, into the now, here, instead of wherever else our mind might be taking us. You can kind of think of grounding as a self-soothing technique. Sometimes it can be helpful to distract us from some of the things that we're experiencing or feeling in our day-to-day. And it can be really helpful also when we've gone through a lot of traumatic things or distressing things in our life. And if we're having symptoms from that, for example, nightmares, flashbacks, dissociation, which is being disconnected from our sense of self in several different ways, grounding can really help us bring ourselves back now. For example, I know that I'm talking to you guys, but in this moment I can feel my toes press into the ground. That gives me a sense that, well, I'm here, and then in my head I'm also thinking about, okay, what do I need to talk about? Kind of have this dual awareness that I'm present but also talking. So that is a very simple grounding exercise, just digging your toes into the ground. Now, I use grounding with every client that I work with, whether they come in with a significant amount of trauma or not. The reason I do that is because the more that we are able to connect to ourselves and work with what we're feeling, the emotions that come up in our day-to-day, the more able we'll be able to feel centered and grounded, and it can help us approach our work better, leisure activities better, our relationships better, especially in communication. Grounding can be very helpful when you're with your partner or family member and you're talking about something that's pretty contentious, and you might notice your body's getting tense and you're getting heated, and that might be good in that certain conversations where you can use that energy. But in other conversations it might be, okay, whoa, I'm getting way too activated and I need to find a way to slow myself down. Chances are a lot of you probably already have grounding tools and skills that you use that can help with some of that emotion. And I'm just introducing a few ones that I like to use with clients, and I'm always open to you sharing down below in the comments, what have you used to bring down the intensity of emotion and center yourself. Now, grounding is not avoidance. It is a way for us to slow down those what ifs. What are the worst case scenario things that might come up in our mind? For example, what if I don't have enough clients coming in? Well, then I'm thinking, okay, well, then I'm not gonna be able to pay my bills. If I can't pay my bills, my wife's gonna divorce me, and if she divorces me, then I'm probably not gonna be able to manage my life anymore. And then if I can't manage my life anymore, I'm probably gonna lose my house, my relationships, my friends. And then before I know it, I won't have anything and I'll be houseless. A lot of you might recognize that this happens really quick in our minds. We get really good at instantly going to worst case scenarios. And then if we do that, we're probably feeling pretty stressed out, pretty anxious, lots of feelings coming in. So grounding can really help recenter us. Take that 100% intensity of anxiety that we're feeling and hopefully bring it down to about 20%. Then from there, again, grounding's not about, it's not going to take away the issue or the problem, but if we're at 100% anxiety, we probably can't think and connect to our rational brain to decide, what do I need to do to take steps forward? If we can bring it down to, say, 50%, 30, 40, 20%, then we will have access to our thinking brain. I point here because this is our prefrontal cortex. That's where our rational, logical brain is. If we have access to that, we can tap into, okay, I know that I was just really anxious. I was able to slow it down a bit. Now, what does that anxiety need? Do I need to reach out for supports? Do I need to connect with my family, my loved ones? Do I need to, do a bit more studying? What is it that that feeling needs, rather than taking over and then crippling us from doing anything? Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Another way you can think of grounding is, when you get a cut on, let's say, your arm or on your hand, and a few things that you might do first is clean the cut and then put a Band-Aid on. That most of us know, right? We learn that from when we're young. That's how we work if we're, getting a cut on somewhere on our body. Grounding is emotional first aid. It helps us with that cut that we're feeling, that hurt, that anger, that sadness, that overwhelm, that stress, that anxiety, that disconnection. Again, doesn't solve the problem, but it gives us the opportunity, just like a Band-Aid gives a cut the environment it needs to heal. It doesn't solve the cut and cure the cut, but it gives it a sterile environment to heal. Grounding gives us the opportunity to do the same, to look at what do we need now. So let's talk effectiveness. Now, like I mentioned, sometimes when our thoughts and our mind is racing, thinking about worst case scenarios, turning little molehills into mountains, mind reading, when for example, I know that they should know this, and then because they're not answering in a certain way, I'm feeling more heated and upset and stressed and overwhelmed. And grounding, if we get really good at it with some of the different tools that maybe you pick up from things that you already know, maybe it's things you pick up from some of these videos or someone else in your life, but using these kinds of tools can help slow that down. Now, its effectiveness is like anything else that we might do in our life. If we practice, it's going to get easier, and we're going to be better at doing it if we have that practice. For example, riding a bike. When you ride a bike, learn how to ride a bike, oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes you're going to ride on a three-wheeler. You're going to have training wheels on there, and then slowly, as you learn how to balance with what you got from the training wheels or the three-wheeler, you're going to take those off and go to a two-wheeler. Now, when you're on a two-wheeler, you might feel pretty wobbly, fall over quite a bit at times. There might be times that it's like, yeah, it's working, you're getting it, and then you fall. That's like grounding too. It takes time to build it up. Sometimes you might notice it's really helpful where, okay, it brought down that anger and that anxiety, and then after you're done the exercise, all of a sudden you're feeling that activation again. That is okay, because like riding a bike, it takes time to build these strategies in. Sometimes it can take weeks for us to build it in as a new habit. And then once we build it in as a new habit, it'll give us a better opportunity to use it when we're feeling stressed, when we're feeling not good or overwhelmed. So I'll invite you to try to practice some of these tools as much as you can. Maybe you just start with once a day. Like, you do a little grounding strategy for a minute, and then you just keep going. The key is to practice it when you're feeling calm. Because when you're feeling calm, then you can really think about it, soak it into your body, and then use it when you're feeling overwhelmed. Kind of like when athletes train, they're activated in games, they're feeling the rush, the intensity, the adrenaline, but oftentimes throughout the week, they're spending more than double the amount of time training, usually in intense but also in artificial calm environments, so that they're getting used to building in muscle memory on how to react and respond when they're in the action. And that's just like our emotions. If we can learn some of these tools when we're calm, then when we're in the action, overwhelmed, stressed, afraid, anxious, we can bring these tools in and help our body slow down a bit. Now, it sounds great, but as you get out there and you start practicing, you might notice, okay, great, Kyle gave me some tools. Maybe you notice an hour later, you're angry, overwhelmed, you're having a fight, can't even remember the tool. That is okay. Give yourself a little bit of time, a little bit of opportunity to build these in. If it doesn't work, that's actually really good because it gives you an opportunity to look at, what did I need to do differently? What can I build in to help me in a situation like this moving forward? Now, for some of you, this might not have worked at all. And to be honest, great. You might notice that some of these tools that I'm offering, or some of the tools that you might have practiced before, don't work for you. Great. Then throw those out. Then what you can do is find things that do work for you. And then you can build those into your toolbox. But for some of you, you might notice that these didn't work, or a lot of them don't work, and that's okay, because we might be very used to, if we've gone through a lot of stress, a lot of trauma, a lot of overwhelming experiences, we might be used to being overwhelmed by being calm. And that might sound to some of you a little bit strange. For others, that might really click, because if we're always activated, always in fight or flight mode, then getting into a calm state is different. And like any change, different can be scary, overwhelming, too much. So if you notice that for yourself as you're practicing these strategies, that's okay. Take it one step at a time, take it slowly. If it's still something that you're having trouble with, check in with your family doctor, check in with your clinician, your therapist, psychologist, counselor, whoever it is that you can go to, your mental health professional, to get some support with this stuff. Because that for you might be a bigger sign of, there's a bit more stuff that we're carrying on our back, more trauma, more symptoms, and that's okay. It's just good awareness so that you know what direction you can go in to get the help that you might be looking for. Now, I know I'm blabbing quite a bit on grounding, and hopefully some of this made sense and was helpful for you guys today. Feel free to put any questions or comments below, and I'll do my best to get to all of your questions and comments. I'd love to hear from you. What are things that you do to help slow down your emotions? And you could even tell me, things that are not working, and we can just start having conversation about it. And maybe if you put some things down that you find really effective and I haven't used yet, maybe I'll ask for your permission and we can get it in one of these videos to share with others who might be having a tough time. So thanks everyone for taking the time to listen to me today about what grounding is. And it's about slowing down. In some, it's about slowing down the intensity of whatever we're feeling in the moment so that we can reconnect, recenter, connect to our thinking brain, and decide how we want to take our steps forward. Thanks everybody for watching. Take care, have a great day, and I'll see you in our next video.